So stakeholders are meeting in Pretoria for the 42nd Southern Africa Transport Conference. They're expected to discuss the impact of transport on socio-economic development. The gathering will also facilitate discussions and exchange information about how to use transport policies, strategies and technologies in all types of transportation. Our reporter there is Ofentse Setimo.
I think the fact that there have been challenges in our freight and logistics sector and the impact that that is having on the broader economy is no secret to your viewers. Obviously, in the past year, President Ramaphosa established the National Logistics Crisis Committee. And as incoming minister, my first priority will be to give that committee my unequivocal and unconditional support. I think that already we have seen great progress in terms of improving movement of goods and services through the key logistics corridors and also at our ports. We've also seen improvements in terms of fixing our rail lines and opening some of the stations that we need opened across the country. This is work in progress. And I want to ensure that through my support we can accelerate this progress. We can ensure that Transnet and PRASA undertake the necessary reforms and other forms of operation so that we can unblock the sector. What we know is that because of this crisis, workers in a range of industries, particularly in the mining industry, are facing retrenchment. This is a very unfortunate situation in a country that already has very high levels of unemployment. So I've got my work cut out for me.
Absolutely, Minister. And, some of the issues you mentioned was also the issue of the fact that a majority of South Africans are actually commuting using taxis. But at the same time, there are a lot of challenges there where there's conflicts between rival unions or associations that have been going for years. I know in Soweto, there's been two associations that have been at war for many decades, yet there doesn't seem to be a resolution in sight. How do you plan to do things differently from your predecessors to try and find an end to this particular impasse between those associations?
Well, I think first and foremost we must accept that taxis are part of community life in South Africa, and that of those who are using public transport, 80% since the COVID pandemic are now moving on taxis. What we need to be looking at is how do we make taxis safer for commuters? How do we make taxis greener for achieving our emissions targets? And of course, how do we work with the taxi industry so that we decrease the levels of conflict and violence that really give the industry a very bad name? I think that these are early days. I can't talk to you about conflict in specific associations, but I think that this has to be prioritized so that we get the system to play its rightful role in the transport ecosystem.
Absolutely. And as a parting shot, we understand that Gautrain employees are actually embarking on a wage dispute. In fact, they are saying in Midrand, there's a bit of tensions there as they're blockading roads, preventing some of the non-striking workers from actually going to work. What is your reaction to that, and also to this trend of whenever workers are actually unhappy about maybe salaries or so, they would actually put the economy, on the line, whereas people will not be able to go to work and there won't be production for that particular week or so whenever there are these kind of strikes?
Well, the rights of organized workers are enshrined in our constitution and in law. I'm sure if Premier Lesufi needs help with his strike, he'll call me.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time, Minister, and good luck to your endeavors later on today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, as you can hear there, that's Transport Minister Barbara Creecy actually saying that, her work is cut out for her to sort of deal with some of the issues that she has inherited after she was appointed as the Transport Minister, saying that, most of the issues she will definitely prioritize, including the fact that they need to improve the road structure that is in South Africa to ensure that, people are actually are able to travel effortlessly, to go to work and ensure that the economy thrives.